Now, as gunshots echo across the wind-swept, snow-covered reaches of the wild Northwest, Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns, present the challenge of the Yukon. It's Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog of the Northwest, blazing the trail for Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police in his relentless pursuit of lawbreakers.
On King, on, you Huskies!
Gold discovered in the Yukon. A stampede to the Klondike in the wild race for riches. Back to the days of the gold rush. With Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice, bringing you the adventures of Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog, Yukon King, as they meet the challenge of the Yukon. Fellas and girls, picture yourself dog sledding hour after hour on the Yukon Trail, like Sergeant Preston. You'd soon find out that real stamina calls for a nourishing He-Man breakfast. So remember, every time you eat a heaping bowlful of delicious, crisp, Quaker puffed wheat or Quaker puffed rice, you get extra food values of restored natural grain amounts of vitamin B1, niacin, and iron. For a nourishing treat, eat Quaker puffed rice and Quaker puffed wheat. Jeremy Ward operated a freight line between Whitehorse and Dawson. A sturdy building in Whitehorse served as both a home and office. Old Hank, a retired dog driver, was Jeremy's closest friend, and frequently came into town to visit Jeremy and Jeremy's grandson, an orphan named Billy.
Go on, Hank. Tell me some more.
All right.
Billy, wide-eyed,
Billy,
and old Hank sat at a front
I'll
window.
tell you some more.
Hank was in the midst of one of his fabulous stories of the trail, while Jeremy worked on records in an inner room.
Was I?
The wolves were coming at you on the trail.
Yes, sir. 10 of them. Well, there I was.
Oh, Grandpa's interrupted again.
Yeah, see a dog team coming this way.
Jeremy, I told you I'd let you know when I saw that messenger. What makes him so all-fired important? I declare I never saw you so squirmy.
Well, Hank, I didn't want to say anything before, but I can tell you now. That messenger is coming from Diamond Bill Davis.
From Diamond Bill, you say?
Yes, he's a collector of jewels. He thinks he's like Diamond Jim Brady. He brought a fortune in diamonds with him when he came from the States.
There was a piece of the paper about Diamond Bill. Said he was going to ship $1 million worth of diamonds back to the States. He's going to sell them there.
It was a fool idea to put that in the paper. It's an invite to every crook in the Yukon.
Is he really sending down $1 million worth of diamonds?
Well, that's stretching it, but he's sending a lot. People around here don't have much use for fancy jewelry and diamonds. He'll get a better price for the jewels in the States.
Savvy. Are you going to handle the shipment?
I'm to see that the diamonds get as far as Dawson. After that, it's up to the steamship company.
Those diamonds would make a big haul for crook.
And that's why the shipping plans are mighty secret. No one knows how the diamonds are going to be sent to Dawson or when. Not even me.
You don't know?
Nope. The man I'm expecting from Mr. Davis will bring word about when and how we handle the cargo. Now, you keep watching out that window, Hank. Let me know as soon as you see a man with a dog team.
I told you I'd let you know.
We're watching, Grandpa.
Now go on back to your office and let me get on with the story I was telling Billy.
All right, but just keep watching, that's all.
I hope he doesn't interrupt us again.
Now, where was I at?
You were out of ammunition, and the wolves were closing in.
Oh, yes, that's right. 20 wolves.
10 wolves.
Oh, 10, huh? Well, there I was, with 10 hungry wolves showing their fangs. I expected them to finish me off most any second. Then I heard a man yelling in the distance. "Get him, King," he yelled. "Get him, King," just like that.
Then what?
Well, then I saw a great big dog streaking across the snow. He was coming like greased lightning.
It was Yukon King.
Sure enough. And he lit into that pack of wolves, fighting, tearing, and dashing, and leaping. I tell you, I never seen the like of it. Then Sergeant Preston with his dog team comes into view. He's coming fast and shooting with the gun in each hand. Then those wolves, they just skedaddled. They got out of there in a hurry.
Oh, golly. Oh, Hank, look. Look outside.
Huh?
There comes a man with a dog team. Maybe that's the messenger Grandpa's waiting for.
But sure enough. Jeremy! Jeremy!
Yeah, what is it?
Here comes the messenger, the man you're waiting for.
Good. By golly, I'm glad he's here at last.
Hey there. Jeremy Ward around?
Yeah, that's my name. Come in here. Come in fast. I'm waiting for you.
I have a letter for you.
I know what you have.
I had a hard time on the trail. I was delayed a little bit.
That's all right. You're here at last.
You didn't tie your dog.
Now, they'll stay where they are. They're all right for a minute or so.
Where's that letter?
Yeah, get the letter right here, Mr. Ward.
Yeah, bring it in my office. Hank, you'd better come along.
All right, Jeremy.
Mister, do you mind if I go out and look at your dog?
Oh, I know. No, go ahead, sir.
Billy, if you're going out, see that you pull on your pocket.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, let's get back to my office. I'm downright anxious to see what that letter has to say.
The messenger and old Hank followed Jeremy into the office. Billy hurriedly pulled on his parka and then went outside to admire the messenger's dog team. The boy was particularly impressed by a strong, powerful lead dog. He bent and stroked the animal's ears. The 10-year-old boy admired the other dogs and then moved to a position behind the sled and stood on the runners.
Golly, now I feel just like Sergeant Preston.
The game of make-believe appealed to Billy. He fancied himself as a brave Mountie who maintained law and order in the Yukon territory. He whispered,
Come on, King. On, King. On, you huskies.
then, growing more bold, he picked up the whip and in a louder voice said,
On, King. On, you huskies.
The dogs became more alert. The leader turned back and looked inquiringly at Billy as he waved the whip and stood on the runners. Bolder then, the boy raised his voice and shouted as he cracked the whip.
On, King. On, you huskies. Golly. Wait. Never my foot's caught. Wait a minute. Hold on there.
The leader of the dogs took off at a fast clip, and the others pulled their weight. Billy tried to jump off the sled, but found that a lacing of his boot had become tangled with the jagged saw teeth of the brake. He was caught. He dropped the whip and clung desperately to the handle so he would not be thrown and dragged.
Grandpa, help me. Stop the dog.
His cries brought Jeremy to the door with Hank and the messenger close behind.
It's your dog team and your sled.
They're running away with Billy. Come back here. Come back. Come back here. Come back, you
They can't hear you now. They've gone too far. We've got to get after them.
Yeah, but how? We can't travel on foot.
We've got to find another team. By the time we get dogs lined up and hitched to a sled, those critters will have Billy halfway to the border.
I'll see what I can find.
Billy was gripped by a paralyzing fear. The dogs soon left the regular trail and dashed across uneven ground. Billy clung desperately to the back of the pitching, swaying sled, and then his hands became numb. He was thrown off the sled and landed in a thicket by the trail. His head struck the side of a huge rock, and for a time he lay unconscious. He recovered in the shelter of the rock and underbrush, but he was only half conscious when he heard the voices of two men from the opposite side of the massive boulder.
Can you open that old man's safe? Jeremy Ward? That's easy. Well, then we've got nothing to worry about. Just open her up and get that letter.
Yeah, but Baxter, you're sure Ward will have the letter in his safe?
Well, of course he will, Slick. Where else would he keep it?
But when Ward finds the letter's gone, he'll think back to the people who worked for him who knew about his safe, and he'll think of me. I'll be the first one suspected.
No, he won't.
Besides that, when he finds the letter's gone, he'll know there's a plan afoot to steal the Davis diamonds. Then his shipping plans will be changed.
I figured all that out, Slick.
Yeah?
When you steal the letter, take whatever cash is in the safe. We'll use that to frame someone for the robbery.
Let's hear some more. Who do we frame?
Why, old Hank.
But he's Jeremy Ward's best friend.
Yeah, knows all about Ward's business. He probably knows how to open Ward's safe.
Oh, I see.
Now, Hank lives in a shack between here and town. We'll make a copy of the plans for shipping the diamonds. Then we'll hide the letter and the stolen cash in Hank's house.
Then what?
As soon as we have the stuff planted in Hank's house, we'll find some way to get Hank out of the way, so it'll look like an accident. After he's dead, the constable will go through his possessions. Then they'll find the stolen cash and the letter.
You think Ward'll believe his old friend turned crook?
What else can he believe? He'll figure no one else has seen the shipping plans for the diamonds, so there'll be no reason to change the plans.
Oh, Baxter, that's downright smart planning. Once we know how and when the diamonds are to be sent to Dawson,
We can figure a way to get him.
this'll be the biggest jewel robbery the Yukon's ever seen.
We'd better start for town now. It'll be dark when we get there.
Hey, wait. If anyone sees me in town, they're likely to put two and two together and remember that I worked for Jeremy, that I might know how to open his safe.
won't be hard for you to keep out of sight. We'd stay away from the regular trail. Now, let's get started.
Billy's head hurt terribly, but he'd been afraid to stir for fear the men who plotted against his grandpa would discover him on the opposite side of the big rock. He sobbed softly as the two men moved away.
Those crooks. Those dirty, scheming crooks.
When he tried to stand, Billy felt as though the world were spinning. His head throbbed where he had struck it on the rock. And then he seemed to see a million lights. An instant later, he slumped to the ground, unconscious for a second time. By the time old Hank, Jeremy, and Dave, the messenger, had found a sled and snowshoes to go in search of Billy, snow had begun to fall. This and a high wind soon wiped out the trail. Then darkness came, but the three kept on. In the meantime, Billy regained consciousness on a bunk inside a cabin. He looked up and by the light of an oil lamp saw a man whose face wore a look of anxiety. The man wore a parka that concealed his uniform. Billy didn't know that he was Sergeant Preston.
You must be one.
Oh, take it easy, son. Don't try to talk until you feel stronger.
Where am I?
In a cabin. I found you in the woods and brought you here. You've been unconscious for a long time.
You're one of them.
What?
I heard you talking. You're planning to rob the safe and kill old Hank.
Oh, steady, son.
Which one are you, Slick or Baxter?
Slick? Baxter? Well, I'm neither one of those men.
You are. You must be, or you wouldn't have found me here. Now I suppose you're going to kill me, too.
I found you unconscious beside a big rock. Put you on my sled and brought you here. You had a nasty bump on the head. Now tell me, son, what's your name?
My name? Oh.
Easy. Oh, unconscious again. Boy's badly hurt. Wonder who he is and what he heard. A robbery and a murder.
We'll continue our adventure in just a moment. Say, what's up? Who's on the warpath?
No warpath. Me, Barry Hatchet.
Well, what goes on?
Me now, big chief. Make celebration.
Oh, I see. Congratulations are in order. And say, I have something I'd like to give you because it's just what a big chief ought to have for breakfast every morning.
Must be special big for big chief.
Oh, it is. Everything about Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice is big. Take a look at the big red and blue packages.
Me like colors red and blue.
And did you ever see any cereal so deliciously big and crisp as Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice?
Oh, plenty big.
Yes, those choice premium kernels of wheat and rice shot from guns are actually exploded up to 8 times normal size.
Big chief, like 'em big.
And what a big eating treat, too. They're shot from guns to make 'em crisp and tender, bigger and better tasting. There's bang-up nut-like flavor in every big, luscious mouthful.
Me want heap big bowlful now.
Coming up, Big Chief. Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice are ready to serve. We just top 'em with milk or cream and fruit, and then go to it. And as all you fellas and girls know, you can always have those second and third helpings because Quaker puffed wheat and rice are so good for you. They both furnish added food values of restored natural grain amounts of vitamin B1, niacin, and iron. Don't miss out a single morning. For a heap big treat, eat Quaker puffed rice and Quaker puffed wheat. Shot from guns. Now to continue. Jeremy Ward was assisted by his old friend Hank and a messenger named Dave in searching for his 10-year-old grandson who had been carried off on a sled by a runaway dog team. The three beat through the wind and snow in the Yukon night, not knowing that Sergeant Preston had found Billy and that at that very moment the boy lay unconscious in old Hank's cabin. Meanwhile, Slick and Baxter crept toward the rear of the building that served Jeremy Ward as a home and an office.
There's no lights in there, Slick. Think the old man's going to bed.